All right, everybody, we are in the parking garage here on the campus of Gainesville, Florida, at the campus of University of Florida. And right behind us is the Curtis Phillips Hall. And in front of us here, we have three wonderful people who've agreed to get out of the rain. And we're here to have a conversation about what's happening for Def Talent Jam XXXIII. So if you could go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell us your title and what you're doing. So we'll start with you.
Hello, my name is Matthew Yee, and I am the executive director for this year's DTJ 33. So I help oversee, all the committees, all the teams, and work alongside our two lovely assistant directors to help the show come to life.
Okay, great.
Hi, my name is Christina. I'm one of the assistant directors. So sorry, but yeah, we just work together, putting the show together, oversee all the committees. Yeah.
I'm Haley. I'm also one of the assistant directors, and like what they said, we've split looking over all of the committees, try to answer as many questions as we can to put together a good show.
Okay, knowing that this is Def Talent Jam 33, just to give you a little background, so I was part of Def Talent Jam 1 all the way back in the day. Not that I was a part of it, but that I was able to see it for the very first time at the Orange and Brew, which is somewhere here on campus at the Rights Union,
Yeah.
if I know that correctly. So all these years later, here we go, 33 years, and we're finally in one of the biggest venues that Def Talent Jam has to offer, which is our Curtis Phillips Hall. Now, behind them, and the reason why we're under here, because not only is it raining, but there's construction. So those of you out there that are going to be watching this, there's a construction fence. So it's going to be a unique situation which we've never dealt with before. The Curtis Phillips Hall was where Def Talent Jam happened in 2011. It finally got moved from the Florida Theater to here. So knowing that this is a venue that we're going to have to work around, is that really going to deter us from having a great show?
Not at all.
Not at all?
Not at all. It's because, there's still an entrance there, there's still like a side entrance that you can still enter through. And as long as you can get into the building, I don't see why we can't have a great show.
Yeah, obviously. So being the executive director, is there pressure on you to put on a good show? How are your two assistants gonna help you bring this, to life?
So yeah, I think there definitely is some pressure, especially with all the recent changes going on. And this year, DTJ is just like changing, like the entire playing field is changing now with all these new rules, all these regulations and stuff.
Okay.
So with everything changing, it's like, okay, you want to be able to still put on the good show that everyone wants, but you still want to adhere to all the new guidelines. So finding that mix and that blend between those two different worlds, I feel like me and my assistant directors will be able to do that, and I feel like so far we've been able to do that.
Okay, so awesome. Talking about our assistant directors, so specifically, what are each of you in charge of?
Basically, so we have 5 committees,
Mhm.
and with the 3 of us, we split up our head, I guess. So I'm in charge of multimedia and PR/advertising. Christina has tech and programming, and then Matt is helping us with the rest of them as well as hospitality. That's everything.
That's a big job.
Yeah.
That's really a big job. Seeing this as it went through the years, there was just an executive director, and then finally an assistant, and now there's 2 assistants. So you can see how it's growing. It's growing because of the responsibilities are huge, and obviously we don't want to put that on him. That's a lot of pressure, and 33 years of greatness that Def Talent Jam has happened. We want to make sure that the show is going to flow. So one of the things that we also want to talk about is the theme. Everybody is always so excited about the theme. The theme really drives what the different crews will come up with in their sets. So how did you come up with the theme? I'm not going to name it because I want them to say it. So how did you come up with the theme, and why this particular theme for Def Talent Jam 33?
So this this year's theme, Volition.
So you gotta speak a little bit louder.
This year's theme, Volition. We kind of, one of our first meetings, we all met up to really, like, of course we had to establish the theme first. And DTJ has always meant so much to me, and we had this list of many previous years of DTJ. And one of the main things that I personally wanted when we discussed this was that the theme be impactful. So my first DTJ was Mahalko,
Okay.
and to me that was so cool that it talked about love, this really important driving force of life. And so when we were trying to think of our theme, I was trying to think of, at least in my life, what I would think is impactful, and something that could be applied to many other people, many other stories. So we came across the idea of choice in your life and kind of the way you drive that with, just seeing how much of it is like in your hands rather than, because everything can happen to you, but it really depends on what you do.
So the word volition, what does that mean for the audience?
So volition is more of like, it's kind of like your voluntary action. So our big theme is fate versus free will. So it's like, will you let fate decide what happens with your life, or will you use your own volition to choose what you do with your life?
Okay, so fate over free will.
Yes.
Wow, that's a really. It's always curious when the Deaf Talent Jam community comes up with these themes, because some of these themes are very easy, like love. Okay, but when we're talking about volition, you really have to dig deep.
Yeah.
Really, really dig deep on what that would mean. How would you put that out on stage? And how is that going to be received by the audience?
Yes.
And that's always the toughest thing. That really is for those choreographers, and then to put the sets together within that theme is quite unique. Every year it just blows me away with the teams that come here and take that theme to heart. No pun intended with the Mahalko. But talking about teams, so can you tell us which team or what teams and where are they from? We'll talk about the competing teams and the exhibition teams, if we could.
So we do have 5 competing teams and 5 exhibition teams this year. As of right now, those teams haven't been released yet to the public.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, but do stay tuned on our Instagram at Deaf Talent Jam to see the team reveals this coming October.
Yeah, I could think of some as I go back, after these, and I'll call it the kind of the social media era. They're in the social media era. Where I came from, we're the old school era. We're kind of the beginning, and so it's really neat to see where they've come from. This bar on campus, where it was really it was a variety show. Just to let you guys know, it was a variety show. It wasn't just dance. People sang, people told jokes. It was truly a variety show. And obviously the evolution of Deaf Talent Jam has taken us from a bar all the way to here to almost a 1,500 seat hall. So what gives you the drive to be your best? In about 5 weeks, we're going to have October 25th right here on this lawn. I think one of the things I'm always asking myself is, how do you mentally prepare for something like this?
So yeah, you guys want to answer? Okay. So I guess for me, I feel like it just making myself and like my past self proud, because I was part of also DTJ 31 Mahalko. And whenever I got there and I performed on the stage for the first time, I was like, wow, this is like such an amazing experience, and it's such a great thing to be a part of. And now that I'm taking on the role of executive director, I want to be able to show that I've grown and I've become part of like a new, I'm now fulfilling a new role in Deaf Talent Jam, not just as a dancer, but as someone who's heading it. And also to make, the people of the next generation of dancers be able to live the same experience as I am. Because I know that there's a lot of people that are eager, as they come to UF, to all these other different universities and colleges, they're like, oh, what's Deaf Talent Jam? And after they figure it out, they're like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. I want to be part of that. And I, my goal is to make sure that that experience for them is the same as my experience was in freshman year. So.
Awesome. And you're a junior now?
Yes,
Okay.
third year.
Junior, third year, and what's your path?
Computer science.
Computer science. Okay. And for each of you?
So for me, I think I've been working on, so since I'm a year older than them, Mahalco was my first year on committee. So I've been on committee this year for 3 years.
Oh, great.
So my sophomore year, I made the Mahalco logo, and so I was on.
Hey, look at that. Awesome. Wow. Okay.
So I was on committee, and it was like my first time doing anything with FSA because I was a little nervous because to me FSA was like this big organization and everybody was so like talented and professional and everything that they did was so like grand and I wanted to be a part of that.
Okay.
So a lot of my kuyas and things told me to join committee and like help with the show, and I like absolutely fell in love with it because I went my freshman year just to watch. And I think I agree with that where I want to do a really good job this year to give someone else that like initial experience of like, oh wait, this is somewhere I could fit in and like have an impact on the community as well. Because last year they let me do the logo again.
Hey, double pump, all right.
Yes, because last year I was multimedia director or multimedia head for the multimedia committee, and Matt was on my committee.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So the roles have now reversed.
Yes.
First she was in charge, and now you're in
He's
charge.
in charge. Yes,
There you go.
But, we've always worked really well together, and then the three of us have been friends for a really long time. So I think our bond as like friends, but also like creative people, is a really strong one. And I think we all have the drive to make something memorable for the new generation, as well as something that people of older generations can appreciate as well. Because we do want to do a lot of outreach with like alumni and like seniors and juniors and things to make sure that they understand that it's still like a welcome space for them.
Awesome. And your story?
Oh, honestly, DTJ, like I have never been to any dance events or like anything where a school made something so impactful. So my first DTJ, I remember reading the posts coming up and seeing the theme reveal and the descriptions of it, and I was like, that's so cool. People are like really sending out teams and telling stories with them, and everyone really just comes together. And I remember even after the show, like seeing everyone with their flowers and their friends, like congratulating them. I was just so amazed by the community, and even inside, like the cheering, the impact of the stories, like really being there. I wanted to be able to like help in creating that magic, because watching DTJ for the first time in college, especially coming from like a town where people didn't really have as much spirit, it was just so amazing to me. And yeah, especially since it's one of like the bigger shows of the semester for FSA, like I just wanted to be able to help contribute to the impact that I felt when I first watched DJ.
So I've been doing this Def Talent Jam History Channel, which unofficially back then it wasn't called that. Just a couple years ago, I came up with the idea of taking what I'd done at Def Talent Jam 20, and now it's what, 13 years later or something like that, 12, 13 years later, and here I'm talking with the executive director as well as his assistants. I never thought that it would be this impactful, and so that's the biggest thing that is part of what I do. Just to give you all a little background, it's great hearing humbling beginnings. We all have humbling beginnings of going, who am I as a person? What can I do to contribute? And so way back when, and I won't reveal this, but back in the day, I was the first president of FSA at UCF, which back then it was called UCF at FSA. And once you graduate and you've done these things with your FSA, like where do you go from there? You go on to your job or your career, maybe you raise a family or do whatever. And finally, I was thinking, 20th anniversary. Is it still in the Orange and Brew? Nope, it's over here. I'm like, what? How did this all happen? And that's when I started to really figure out, here's my way of giving back. Yes, am I giving back to my my FSA at UCF? Obviously, yes, absolutely, as an advisor. But now I can really be more impactful to more people because we have something on YouTube that people can reach all the way back to back in the day, and you all being a part of that, that's one of the things that you know, that'll never die. It'll always be on the internet. We'll see that you've been a part of this in 2025, and knowing that what you're doing is helping extend the legacy, 33 years of Def Talent Jam. And that's something for you all to be proud of, just because as a, I guess you would say, as one of the OGs or the originals, from seeing it the very first time in 1993 to looking at these young people right here, right in front of me, this gives me so much pride and joy because they are now leaving a legacy and showing how much Def Talent Jam means to them and to the dance community and to, you know, everybody else who's being a part of this. So I really thank you for, you know, taking the time to do this interview. And so sorry, I said December. Is it Christmas? So on Saturday, October 25th, 5 weeks from now, y'all, 5 weeks, here at the Curtis Phillips Hall. We're gonna have to adjust to the front, but don't worry about what's happening in the front. It's party in the back. Yeah. That's what we're gonna do. We're party in the back inside. We're gonna see that show happen. And again, this is gonna be a tremendous Def Talent Jam 33 with the theme of Volition. Is there any last words that each of you want to give about yourself, about DTJ, to maybe the audience or maybe the teams? You got your last word. Ready, go. No pressure.
Would you like to go first? I don't have anything right now.
We're super excited to see all of you there at the show. We hope you enjoy the hard work that us and committee have put in for the past few months, because we've been working since May on everything. And we really appreciate you and all the hard work you do, because all the three of us genuinely love the work that you've been doing to integrate the community and all the dancers and all the behind the scenes. It's very endearing and very heartfelt.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. Yeah, and so just to piggyback on one last thing, with the theme, there's something else that you guys have just put out, which I really, really love, that in terms of clothing. You want to discuss that, and also once you're done discussing that, go ahead and tell everybody different social media platforms that DTJ can be found. So who wants to speak to that?
So for our recent merch line, I worked very hard for a few days to try and make that, because everybody's busy, understandable. Yep. But I also wanted to do it so we could raise money to make a better show for everybody. But not only that, in past years when we've been working on it together, a lot of audience members and other dancers and just people from UF and other schools have wanted merchandise from the show, but we only have it for dancers and committee. So we felt like it would be a good opportunity to share our theme and our hard work with the audiences from various different schools and things, to make a merch line, kind of like a way to commemorate the show, as well as, I guess, serve as a reminder to people to choose fate or free will, up to them, but whatever it is, it's something that they can make out of life themselves, I guess. So very hard work, trying to make a better show, things like that, raise money.
Yep. And so, anything else that you all want to say?
Well, I mean, I hope you guys all come out, to DTJ. I feel like, us and our now expanded committee, because now last year our committee was 21 members, now we have 35.
Whoa. I guess that's a different video.
Yeah.
30. You added 14 more people?
Yes.
Yeah, we added 14 more people this year.
Wow. Okay, that's another video. But anyway, I didn't know that. But that shows the greatness of what DTJ is and the responsibility, the heavy responsibility. So, any last words?
Well, first I wanted to thank you for really putting in the work to preserve DTJ.
You're welcome.
It means a lot to a lot of people.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's good for the future.
Yeah,
but this year, although we had to deal with a lot of changes in the process and adjust certain things that were tradition, I still believe that we're gonna have a great show, and hope you're there.
So do you want to say your different platforms on social media so everybody can get to it?
Yeah, sure. So you can follow us on Instagram at Talent Jam, and there we have a link tree with all of of our information in our merch form, which is due on October 3rd. That's when our merch will be closing. So make sure you get some good merch. And also you can check out that Instagram page for more information on DTJ. With our team reveal coming up in October, and as well as our headliner, our judges, and our dance workshop. So make sure you stay tuned.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited for that. So again, 5 weeks from now, right behind us at the Curtis Phillips Hall on the Fedora Filipino for the DTJ Executive Committee. Bye from Gainesville. We'll see you in 5 weeks. DTJ, peace out.